This old photo shows people learning to swim back in the 1920s. Here's a photo from London taken in 1971. It shows a young lady who seems to have gotten a little bit of a smudge, courtesy of a chimney sweeper. Looks like he left an unwanted mark. Here's a cool photo. It shows a Wehrmacht soldier during World War II. He's got a cat, and it's sitting right on top of his helmet. A photo of school children in Paris taken back in 1956. Here's a photo showing some Soviet soldiers in the 1940s learning how to milk a cow. You can see they're getting the hang of it. Here's a picture of John D. Rockefeller back in 1929 giving a 5-cent coin to a child. Audrey Hepburn, absolutely stunning, wearing Dior. This was for Harper's Bazaar's September issue, all the way back in 1959, and it was taken in Paris. Here's a photo from 1902 showing a young boy. He's got smallpox and you can see he has many ulcers. This image shows a German soldier looking utterly dejected. You can see the despair etched on his face after the disastrous Battle of Kursk, which took place in 1943. Here we're seeing someone looking at erotic comics. This shot was taken in the United States back in 1942. Here's a photo of beach volleyball at Venice Beach, California, from June of 1934. Here's a photo of Annalee Daniels taken by John Milley for Life magazine. It looks like this was taken sometime around the 1940s. Here's a photo of a street gang in Springfield, Massachusetts, taken on June 27, 1916. This is Betty Lou Oliver. Can you believe it? She survived a plunge of 75 stories. And it wasn't just any building, it was the Empire State Building in New York. This incredible feat happened back in 1945. Alright, let's take a look at this photo. It's of Muammar Gaddafi. Here's a photo from World War II. It shows an SS officer out in a field of daffodils enjoying a bit of a frolic. Check this out. This is the German Schienen Zeppelin hitting its maximum speed. This thing clocked in at 120 miles per hour, which is 230 kilometers per hour. And this photo was taken back in 1934. Here's a shot of kids playing in Paris back in the 1920s. Here's a fun one. Check out this photo from Miami, Florida, taken in 1934. It shows a group of women having a good laugh. They're at the beach, and it looks like they're making fun of a sign. Apparently the sign required everyone to wear full bathing suits. This photo is from 1965 and it shows scientist Ralph Mosher. He's excited to show off his research into human augmentation. Here's a photo from the Spanish flu epidemic of 1918. It looks like a family portrait. Here's a charming photo from the 1950s. It shows an enormously happy little girl with an enormous dog. They look like they're having the best time. Here's a photo from London taken way back in 1933. It shows a cat meat seller. Here's a photo from before the 1920s. It shows someone dressed up as the Michelin Man. Check out this incredible photo. It shows a stroller all decked out with a radio. Can you believe it? It even has an antenna and a loudspeaker, all to keep the baby happy. This picture was taken way back in the United States in 1921. Pretty wild, huh? This image shows feminist vandalism from the 1970s. During World War II, babies in England were given these rather comical baby-sized gas masks. They were huge. Alright, check out this classic photo. It's from 1925 and it shows a really dapper dog trying to sneak past a security guard at the Metro Goldwyn Mayer studio. Gotta love his determination. This is Edna Tichenor as Arachnida, the human spider. She was in Todd Browning's silent film, The Show, which came out in 1927. Here's a photo showing the pouring of the foundation for the Eiffel Tower, way back in 1887. Here's a wedding photo of Pierre and Marie Curie. It was taken way back in 1895. Here's a photo from 1943. It shows a young boy, maybe a scout, reporting something important. Looks like he's sharing information about the Germans' location. It's a picture of a civil servant back in Philadelphia in the year 1922. He's standing there, operating a traffic signal, but it's a manual one. Imagine that. Here's a lovely image of a Victorian baby being held by their mother. It's a scene from the late 1800s, and you can just feel the love. This is Josephine Myrtle Corbin, who was born in Texas in 1868 and passed away in 1928. She's known for being the world's only woman with 4 legs. This is Matilda Crawford, an anesthesiologist back in 1894. Here's a picture of a Parisian can-can dancer back in 1895. This photo takes us back to the autopsy room at the medical school in Bordeaux, way back in 1890. It's a fascinating look at the past. Here's a picture of a strong man named Lionel Strongfort. We're thankful for the leaf. This photo was taken way back in 1900. Here's a cool shot. This is a battery-powered scooter from the year 1918. This photo was taken behind the Gare Saint-Lazare in Paris, all the way back in 1932. Okay, check this out. Back in 1840, this is the very first picture of the moon ever taken. Here's a photo from 1954. You see a cyclist in Holland checking on her travel companion. Alright, here's a photo from 1877 showing a chimney sweep and his hard-working assistant. This photo shows a woman in Kuwait back in 1955. She's carrying a sewing machine. Alright, check this out. This photo was taken way back in New York City in 1957. Can you believe it? There's a llama just casually hanging out in Times Square. Take a look at this fantastic photo. It shows a flight attendant from the German airline Lufthansa back around 1963. She's busy serving up draft beer right from a wooden barrel, along with some ham. Talk about in-flight service. Here's a photo of Mitzi Green, an American actress and singer. You might recognise her from Paramount's early talkies back in the 1930s. Alright, here's a fun one. Check out this picture of a funny plane from World War II. Here's a collection of vintage studio photos. They feature Victorian babies, and in these shots you can see the little ones with a unique pose. Their mothers are there, but only half of their faces are visible. Playtime looks like someone's having fun. Here's a photo from 1880 in Istanbul. It shows the tuberculosis ward of the Haskoy Hospital for Women. Alright, check this out. This photo is a total classic. It's from 1863 and it's of a royal wedding, but the real star here is Queen Victoria. Apparently she wasn't too thrilled about her son's big day, so she decided to photobomb the picture. She's right smack dab between the bride and groom, dressed head to toe in mourning, which, you know, was her usual look after her husband Albert passed away, and she's just staring intensely at a bust of him. Talk about making a statement. Here's a shot from Central Park in New York City, way back in 1933. Here's a photo of a protest for the Humane Society way back in 1940. It looks like they're picketing at 42nd Street and 6th Avenue. Here's a photo showing a cafe owner selling tea on the street during the London Blitz. It was sometime between 1940 and 1941, a pretty tough time for everyone. Here's a picture of a samurai with a longbow. This photo comes from the Satsuma domain in Japan, way back in 1860. Hey, check this out. It's a call to action from the 1940s. It says, "Do your bit, skate to work." Imagine that. They're encouraging New Yorkers to save gas back then by skating to work. Pretty cool, huh? A really interesting photo from the 1960s. It was taken in England and shows some nuns smoking. This photo is called A Few Seconds Before Happiness, and it was taken way back in 1955. Here's a great old photo of Maud Adams and Ethel Barrymore. It was taken in New York around 1897. Alright, so we're looking at a scene from the 1870s in the UK. It looks like someone's at the dentist getting a tooth pulled. Here's a photo of Vladimir Lenin at 17 years old. The photo was taken in 1887. This is the real Winnie the Pooh, cuddled up with Christopher Robin Milne. Christopher Robin, of course, was the inspiration for all those wonderful stories we love. This photo was taken way back in 1927. Here's a fun snapshot from the 1920s. Looks like some girls are having a good time playing cards. It's a selfie from 1938. This photo shows a 23-year-old Frank Sinatra taking a bathroom selfie back then. Crazy, right? Here's a photo of an 8-year-old boy leaving Buchenwald camp. The year was 1945. Here's a photo of an American paratrooper in North Korea. The year was 1950. Wow, this is a pretty intense photo. It looks like a tumour on someone's head. You can see how much it's swelled up. The picture was taken way back in 1889. Here's an inflatable model of the American M4 Sherman tank. A stuntman hard at work on a movie set back in 1930. This is a collection of photographs of Native Americans taken by Roland W. Reed. They were taken between the years 1907 and 1913. Here's a picture of children playing. Here's a picture of teenagers from the 50th years of the last century. Can you feel the difference? Wow, check this out. Back in 1956, these technicians are loading 5 megabytes of memory into a Pan Am aircraft. Can you believe it? Here's a photo from a collection called Children's Dreams, taken in the United States by Arthur Tress back in 1965. It shows a child with what look like roots for hands. Really interesting. In 1937, an ape-man was discovered in the jungles of Brazil. A photo from 1902. It shows a young girl who has smallpox. You can see she has a lot of ulcers all over her body. Alright, this photo shows a plate of spaghetti. It's as simple as that. Here's a picture of Richard Nixon meeting John McCain. This was after McCain came home from Vietnam, where he'd been a prisoner of war. Alright, here's a picture showing two surgeons with help from some nurses in the middle of performing eye surgery. This was way back in 1933. Here's a photo of Daredevil Jamie Reynolds showing off his skills. This picture was taken around 1912. Here's a photo of a young Sigmund Freud with his mother. This one was taken back in 1872. Wow, check out this incredible creepy vintage Halloween costume. The Antonov A40. Here's a photo of a young Harry S. Truman. He was just 15 years old back in 1899. Here's a photo from 1942 showing an American soldier with a Joey. Isn't that sweet?